Andrew and John are the first two disciples of Jesus. So although he is the least prominent, what starts for him as an introducer of people is something that continues throughout all of his life. He builds friendships, he builds relationships, and he wins people over. When I consider his life, I think to myself, the way that you win people to Christ is not to shove a Bible down their throat and tell them how wrong they are to live and conduct themselves in the way that they conduct themselves. There are probably a lot better ways to live your life. The way to introduce people to Jesus is to build friendships. Not so that you can just make another notch of souls saved. They're going to look at you and they're going to, there's something different about you, mate. There's something different about your life. What is it? And so many people's testimonies that I've heard over the years tend to pivot on, I met one person who did this, this and this, and they showed me something in their life, in the way that they lived, in the way that they conducted themselves, that introduced me to this faith. One person, that's it.
But they're also at these key moments.
Yeah.
They're there. They're lining up.
He's a really interesting fella. There's not a lot that we know about him. He doesn't write a gospel. He doesn't write any letters that we're aware of. But he's a consistent person there. Even his name, manliness or manly, don't read that for machismo. Read it what being a man is. And a man should be strong, they should be bold, but they should be passionate for people and they should be passionate for truth. And they should be kind, but not weak. Never mistake kindness for weakness. And he seems to demonstrate all of that in the way that he manages to draw people from the company that he associates with. He never gets a bad press. He demonstrates manly characteristics, but not weak characteristics.
Simon, Andrew, James, and John, as well as Philip, they're all from Bethsaida, north of Capernaum. But Capernaum would have been the biggest town. The fact they all come from the same place says a lot.
They're all fishermen. They know each other.
Events move on, and we have to keep an eye out on this Jewish war that happens. He may have gone to Greece or Asia Minor. There's even a tradition that he ended up in Byzantium, and he was potentially martyred somewhere in that area, possibly Patrai, nailed to an olive tree or a saltire cross.
Yeah, an X-shaped cross, the cross of St. Andrew, the Scottish flag.
Yeah.
His calling in life is to introduce others to Jesus. And on that cross, he preached to the crowds for 2 days before dying. So even as he's hanging there on the cross, he is trying to introduce people to Jesus.
Yeah.
That's what he did. He just tried to win people over. You do not die for something you know to be a lie.
And he completes that original first set, doesn't he, of 4?
Yeah, he does.